G'day viewers, Maddo here. Welcome to my first try at going live. Anyway, I'll just get rid of these because I can't see jack shit. Shouldn't say that really. But anyway, yeah, welcome to my live stream. Just a bit of a reveal of me itself while I'm sitting home here, basically bored shitless. So I thought, well, we'll give this live stream a go. And well, here we are, working along, seeing how it goes. Hopefully, I can get through it a little bit. So I will do my best to hopefully maybe entertain you. We'll just go along and talk gibberish, I suppose. I don't really know. Haven't got a dead set plan because my internet's been playing up and I don't know. I'm actually keeping an eye on it right now. So hopefully it all goes well. So with that, sit with me, a little bit to talk about. So any newcomers would be absolutely fantastic. Leave a comment there. Give us a, g'day. Let me know what's going on. If people can see me, hear me, anybody out there, that's all good. Well, anyway, Maddo's my name. Adventuring, yeah, well, I don't think many people can be adventuring around anywhere at the moment for obvious reasons. So, like in my comments I've said to a few people, how can you have a travel channel if you can't travel? So with that, we're giving this live stream a go, and anybody wants to drop a few comments and questions or anything, I'm quite glad to answer them. Going along, me, well, what brings me here? Boredom. I'm sitting here by myself, as you can see. Well, almost by myself. I've got me, well, my little mate over there is the last of the three that I've got, Billy. So it's just him and myself here now. I did start traveling approximately, let's see now, 10 years ago-ish, thereabouts. It was a friend of mine that actually got me into it and absolutely had a blast. First time was through to Koh Samui. From there, spent a couple of years traveling there. And from there, I ventured a little bit more, went through Bangkok up into Chiang Mai to Piao, to a friend's place. Stayed there, got the little bug bite to head off and go do a bit more exploring. I did a lot of scuba diving in Koh Samui, had a blast there, explored that island. Basically, you can turn around and travel that whole island in about 2 hours on a scooter. Yeah, stopping a little bit here and there. It's not a big island, but it's a great island to start if you are looking into Thailand. From there, I went over to Phuket, managed to get hold of someone, funnily enough, didn't work far, or used to work not far from where I live. So we sort of connected there. And from then, got to know him quite well. We actually talked there for quite a few hours. He was an ex-police officer. So with that, done a bit of scuba diving there in Phuket. Only visited there 3 times from memory. Had a blast there. Done all many different things. So with that, come back, visited Bangkok a few times, and yep, went back to Koh Samui with a friend, and then found out another friend of a friend was going to get married. But lo and behold, from me, when I was back at home, I couldn't get over there to attend the wedding. So I absolutely cracked the shot with the bosses and ended up going to Cambodia. Hence, I've been doing Cambodia for the last 7-ish years. And with that, I've grown to have a great affinity with all the people there and my current partner, who is still in Cambodia. I won't talk too much about what's going on there. This is all about just trying to fill in time. So with that, I've been traveling there ever since. Yes, I have taken quite a few people through Thailand. We have traveled around a fair bit, and with that, and have taken a few people as well over to Cambodia as well. Siem Reap, Phnom Penh, Kampot. Where else we go? Sihanoukville. Well, I don't really call it Sihanoukville anymore. So call it whatever you will. I call it well, I won't say too much, but Chinaville is basically what it is. I don't think I might pass through there one time just to see how it really is. But with that, I'm thinking it's not my cup of tea anymore. The very last time I saw it was approximately 4 or 5 years ago. I went down there quite a few times because I want to do scuba diving down there, which I actually did. Was a little bit of scuba diving, probably an adventure to do scuba diving there. Had a good time with the people that were there. It was really good. I enjoyed it, so I explored there. Did go and meet a few people there, and enjoyed it. If you go and look through on YouTube on what Snookville is now as to back then, it's not the same anymore. So with that, what do? You can't do a great deal about it. It's progress for Cambodia, in particular Snookville. There are reasons for that happening. Not for me to say. So for my thoughts are, I don't like what's happened there. It's taken away the ambience of the whole place. They had a lot of great little places you could go there, sit on a beach, little huts there. You could turn around, have quite a few drinks there, have a meal. Absolutely blast time you could have there. Water was really, really nice there. Each time I went there probably about 4 or 5 times and took a few people there as well, and they loved it as well. I reckon it was a really great place. Ochatil Beach, it was for memory, and from there we ended up staying there for each time I went for probably about 5 days, 6 days, because I did travel around a fair bit from Phnom Penh to Snookville and back again, back in the early part of this time. And from there, I did travel around a few other places there. Did get to Kampot only a couple of times. There's a couple of people there in Kampot. But I do like that place. Whether it will change in the future, I don't know, but it possibly will. So with that, been to Siem Reap, met quite a few people up there. A few people I didn't quite catch up with because they were elsewhere, like a few other places I tend to go to. But I did take the family up there and had a good look because of the situation at the moment. They got I think they call it the 58, 68 roads, whatever it is, project now, and they're just digging up everywhere. So it doesn't look as good. But I think eventually when they do finish it, all the roads there up in Siem Reap will be really, really good. From the few little bits and pieces that I'm seeing and keeping an eye on through a few people I watch, it'd be really great. Time will just tell if and when they decide to finish, or not decide, if and when they do get to finish it. It will be a case of when they finish it. With what you could see there, the roads look fantastic, but for the people at the moment, oh my God, you cringe a bit. So with that, we just sort of persevere and go around. So I have been travelling a fair bit the last 7 years. Yes, I do have a current partner. Yeah, I'm surrounded by girls and one boy. One, a little junior. So each time I say I only need 3 for free, but I ended up with 6. Well, we got my partner, her 2 girls, 2 nieces, and sister, which basically that's part of the family, and that's it. And my partner's grandson. So with that, we've just been travelling to and from around. I've done lots of walking around Phnom Penh. I didn't really start vlogging this particular channel. Yes, I do have more than one, but anyway, this one I sort of stuck with and slowly gaining a bit of traction and just walking around. I did start following a few people, but it was just ad hoc, a little bit here, a little bit there. There's quite a few just tend to come and go. So I got a lot of information from them, a lot of traveling, but I did like walking around. And if you know Cambodia, it can get rather hot. And I mean really, really hot. But with that, you just deal with it. Riverside, always a great place. The first place I stayed in, yeah, really seedy. but not knowing anything about it, I did actually start there. My first trip there was by anger. Not what I mean by anger was I was frustrated with work. They wouldn't allow me time off to attend his friend's wedding. And from there, thought, what can I do? I just took 9 days off. Where do I go? I'll go to Cambodia. That's what I did. I knew nothing other than history about Cambodia. Hadn't researched anything other than to find the hotel that I was at. I don't know how many people remember the Walkabout Hotel. No, I didn't stay there. What a city place that was. Well, my hotel was right next to it. I'm assuming now, I think it's just about all gone. The last time I saw it, 18 plus, no, yeah, about 20 months ago, it was the last time I was there for obvious reasons. And they pulled down most of the bar area and everything, and it was just the hotel. I've been looking for videos to see if it was still there, but you don't get to see a great deal of videos about Street 51. That's where that was. That was just seems to be the obvious one. That was the videos that were around at the time, about 8 years ago. That's when I first started going to Cambodia. And they're all videos from probably quite a few years prior, but it was just something different. I'd seen a bit of Thailand. Yep. So Cambodia was probably a new frontier is what I'd probably term it. Not knowing anything about it, sort of scary. I did get there the very first day. No worries, booked in. Good, all good, got there. I landed at the airport, I done an e-visa, which I don't like doing anymore. I don't do it at all. I rather just take the cash, go do visa on arrival, far better than you just glide through. That was all really good. From there, I went and got a taxi, and who took me directly to my hotel. And then from there, checked in. That was all good. They allowed me to be there early. I think I got there about 11 o'clock-ish. Didn't take long to get through the immigration side of it. That was before they upgraded it. Now it looks absolutely really good. The airport, I should say, is looking way better. Then from there, I did go and have a little bit bite to eat, but I knew nothing, culture, anything, how people were, the traffic. That was a bit of an eye-opener. With that, I turned around and decided, well, okay, since I know nothing, I set up, basically threw my stuff in the room that I had, went to get something to eat. So I just went, I can't even remember what I had, but I grabbed something to drink. And I thought, well, the only way I'm going to get to know is to walk around. So I done slowly around the block each way, got bigger and bigger and bigger. Not knowing anywhere, no googly mapsy or anything. I ended up walking for possibly in the vicinity of around, I don't know, 2-3 hours. Was way after lunchtime, and I was really hungry. But I actually made it up onto the riverside, Cecilwealth Key, and just trying to think what they call it now. So many places have changed names and hands since I was there last 18 months ago. The development's just skyrocketing. I'm not recognising a great deal where a few people are. I do recognise the streets, but a lot of the buildings and the fronts have changed so much, so it's hard to try and keep track of where everything is. So with that, I walked and I thought, no, I've got to sit down, have a bite to eat. And this was on the riverside itself. So it was rather good. And as a traveller, what I tend to do is I listen for other people who do speak Australian. So with that, I actually heard this guy talking. He said, where are you from as usual? And struck up a conversation. And he was actually Australian, from memory, I think was from Brisbane, who was living in Hua Hin. So yeah, he sort of filled me in a fair bit. And from there, I turned around and learned a little bit from him. And I sat there, I think, for about 2 hours. He was only on a visa run at the time. I still got his contact details, but I haven't been in contact with him. So with that, I turned around and I sat there, and I think I sat there for a bit too long. So I think it must have been easily a couple of hours, 2-3 hours, just talking to this guy, getting the gist of everything that was going on. So with that, I thought, no, time to go. So with that, I thought, okay, where am I? So I'm sort of a bit exactly where I was, but I had a sort of a clue. Walk out the place where I was having a little bite to eat, which I did have a bite to eat and a few drinks. Excuse me. And from there, I managed to walk back, and I got to, I think it was Norridon Boulevard. And it was just, as I said, everything was just in your face, the traffic, the way the people ride. I knew nothing about it. I had an idea from Thailand, but not the way the Thais, because Thai people drive on the same side as Australia, on the left. In Cambodia, they drive on the right-hand side. So foreign to me. So I'm sort of getting my head around all this, trying to keep safe, try and walk on a footpath. That's a good thing. Try and walk on the footpath. That's an obstacle course in itself. Sometimes I think you're safer to walk in the middle of the bloody road where you can just walk straight down and yet people will just go around you, not a problem. But walking on a footpath, yeah, good luck on that one. So with that, I turned around, got me way back to Norridon Boulevard on Street 174, I think it was, for memory, because it wasn't far. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. That was the other one. I'm a little bit ahead of myself. It was back to Street 51, and I think that was on corner Street 172. So that's where I had to make my way back to. So I got to Norridon Boulevard. That's the main road right through, and I was just gobsmacked. I thought, what the hell's going on here? Now, never seen police at all in full, look like battle gear, in combat, everything, hard hat, fully everything there, AK-40s, I don't know, shitload, big, massive gun. I mean, had two handguns either side. He had a gun strapped to his back. He had one on his front, and he had his finger on the trigger. There wasn't one. There was two of them only on that corner. But this time it was peak hour, 5 o'clock. So you got cars going everywhere. So what does that mean? Oh God, what will I do? But I looked on the other side of the road because I couldn't get across the road. You know, just the traffic was just peak hour madness. So from there, I turned around and looked across the road thinking, how am I going to get across there? But on the other corner, there was two more fully dressed in. I thought, what the? And there's a lot of vehicles going here, and I'm not paying attention. I'm just taking in these, well, as I found out, police officers, not army or anything like that. They were police officers. They were full battle gear. And I'd never seen that before anywhere I've been. But there is a reason for it. I'll get to that in a minute. And looking on there, I'm thinking, there's two here, there's two there. Possibly there's two over there. Sure enough, there was, when breaking a little bit of the traffic from the trucks and cars all going, doing what they do. I'm thinking, oh, what have I got myself in here for? What the hell? So there's two here, two there, two over there. Definitely there's got to be two. Oh, and sure enough, there was 8 police officers. I'm thinking, what the have I got myself into? So what I did then, I luckily enough, a bus had slowly come along, and so I just walked along beside the bus and got across. Later on, I found out they had a demonstration about a week or so ago, and this is what they do. They just get a lot of police around there. But as I know now, further on down the road, they have the Prime Minister's residence when he's in Phnom Penh. Knowledge is everything. And so I managed to get back, and I'm thinking, what was all that about? So that was my very first day in Phnom Penh. What a rude awakening, you know. Well, not a rude awakening, but what a in-your-face deal. So with that, I managed to settle down, thinking, okay, what am I going to do? So I went back to my room, had a bit of a shower and a couple of drinks at the bar at the hotel there, because they had a bar on the street, on Street 51, and the swimming pool. So I thought, no, I'll cool down right down, have a bite to eat, and just sort of settle down and sort of go for another walk up Street 51, which is right opposite, the Walkabout Hotel. Good old famous Walkabout Hotel. Well, if you know about the Walkabout Hotel, that's how long ago that was. It's no longer there. It's a Korean barbecue soup place, I think, restaurant now. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but that's what's exactly there. They pulled the whole building down. It was very notorious. If you do know that, you know what I'm talking about there. So with that, I turned around and I didn't go in there. I thought, no, I'll go for a walk up Street 51 and have a look at Golden Soy Mall. So the beer garden there. So, yep, that was all right. So had a few drinks there, found a nice little place just to sit and sort of take in the ambience of what's going on. That was across the road from the Heart of Darkness. Didn't know anything about that one. If you know the Heart of Darkness, you know, I don't know what it is now, but yeah, I didn't go in there early on. It did take me a couple more trips before I managed to go in there. And then I found out what it was about, but it wasn't what it seemed, if you know what I mean. But that was all right. There wasn't many people there. That was still early on day. So anyway, I managed just to walk around and had a look there, had a few drinks, and that sort of basically set my first day up in Phnom Penh. So pretty much in your face, and yeah, I've been back ever since, obviously. But they did have a few places closed off, and I did have an inkling they were going to renovate it somehow. Yep, took a few years, but they eventually did. I thought they were going to put a huge building up on the site, but they actually didn't. They actually renovated the whole lot and turned it into a new pub street. And actually, look, the last time I was there, 18 months ago, about 18 months ago, that's when I was there. It looked really good. Just lacked the people there. I think a lot of the viewers turned around and just didn't really like the way it went. I don't know. Trying to create too many pub streets. I don't know. So with that, we just go with the flow and just, I still enjoyed it. I still had a few little favourite places. But before they renovate it, we'll go back to there. I just turned around and just sat there, played a few games of pool, talked to a few people around there, as you do. Talked to some of the girls, bought them a few drinks, as you do, you know, just sort of trying to get the gist of it. I ended up going back up to, I think it was probably about 7 o'clock-ish, if not a little bit later. Ended up going back up to the riverside looking for somewhere to eat because they said, yeah, you can go up there. You can find along the riverside there, you can find a lot of nice eateries there. Good for Westerners. Dare I say, happy pizza? Yeah, you might find that might be, to some people's likings. Never tried to had pizza, but never had the happy pizza, the happy herb pizza. So with that, I turned around and thought, yep, okay, that's all good and well. I was just walking along. I thought, no, I'll go into the Riverside Bistro. Thought that looked all right. So that'd be my first meal there, first up. So that was good. Went in there, they had a live band. But what I did notice was there was a guy that come in, two stunners. And one of them had a baby. And so the band was playing, Filipino singer, really nice singer. And that was great. So with that, I just sort of ordered my meal, had a couple of drinks there, and right in between when the band stopped to have a little bit of a break, I heard the guy who came in with the two stunners and the baby. And English. Oh, yeah, where you from? As if I didn't know. Yeah, he's from Australia. Turned out, yeah, no worries. He's from South Yarra in Melbourne, Australia. Oh, wow, yeah, I told him where I was from. So that was all good. And he said, oh, yeah, the girls will go home. Mate of mine's opening up a bar just down the road here. It's his opening night. Come with us and we'll go down there. Well, that'd be good. Yeah, it was really good. So I finished up there at the bistro. They had the last little music session. Only lasted probably about another hour. And from there, went down to this new bar that was opening. Yeah, mate, well, the guy I was with, he turned around and said, yeah, free drinks tonight. Didn't mean much to me. I just, yeah, go down now. I thought, yeah, there'd be a few people there. Holy moly. Yeah, I got one viewer. G'day, mate. How are you? Leave us a comment and let me know how it's all going if I'm out there live. Yeah, so anyway, with that, I went in there. It was like just shuffling my way through. All good. And it was just jam-packed. I mean, it was like sardines in. Went in there, met the guy that was running the place who just opened it up. All good and well. That was great. So with that, that all went really well. Stayed there, bought a few drinks, even though I didn't have a lot of free drinks. I paid for quite a few myself because I was with this other guy. So I said, yeah, have a couple. We've got to make some money. He said, no, it's all right. It's all right. I know the guy. I said, no, I don't feel right just taking all these free drinks. But that was fine. From there, I turned around and just bought a few drinks because I didn't like the what was it, vodka and whatever else they were having. So that was fine. I bought I usually just drink whiskey and Coke, Black Douglas. Hopefully I get the black label, not the red, or Johnny Walker, red or black, either way. So with that, I had a few of them and yeah, got to know the guy quite well and sort of wait for everything to settle down. So I had a really, really good first night. I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning when I actually left that place and somehow made my way back to my room. So I was happy with my first night there. So that started my first night in Cambodia. So a bit adventurous. With that, I managed to survive the first day. I did land at roughly 9 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock the next morning, Khmer time. That's when I got there. All good. So it was a big day. Quite a few drinks. Didn't spend a great deal of money. The currency here is obviously US. So that was good. And we just persevered and kept on going. Had a good sleep that night. Got up in the morning and just walked around and explored, not knowing where anything was or what to do, where to go. It was just I'm going to Cambodia. How do I do it? Got me e-visa. That was probably about the only thing I studied how to get to. And that was pretty straightforward there. And then flew in, got the taxi out. Yeah, as usual, you probably get ripped off going with the taxis. Little buffy mate there. So I didn't mind that much because it was first up, first time there, all good and well. So with that, I turned around. I had a great first start, a little bit of an eye-opener, as I think any place is when you know nothing too much about it. I'm always in the belief that you go there once, your eyes are really wide open. And from there, the second time, you sort of remember a lot of things where you were. The third time, you discover so much more. And that was my first trip, first day in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I enjoyed it. I did stay there for another 9 days. I did explore. I did meet a couple of different people. Did speak to quite a few girls. Did have. I'm just trying to remember. Did I actually spend time in the Walkabout Hotel? I probably did because that was right across. I did a video on another channel night time, and it was just a hotel, not knowing anything about it. I know lots more about it now, and like a few other places, they're gone. I did hear a lot of bad things about what happened in a lot of those places, but it is what it is. Cambodia, Wild West of Asia, and that's basically what it was. Yes, I did play safe. I sort of went there knowing that, yes, this is a bit of an exploratory thing. I did guard myself quite a fair bit about what possibly could happen there, but I was really well aware of what could be. But I took care of myself. I did meet a few people. I did talk to a few people, quite a few people actually. and enjoyed it immensely. So, but I kept, and since that day, I've actually kept going, even though I still travel elsewhere as well. I do take a few people around Thailand, but that's another story for another time. I do enjoy Thailand, but I've spent in the last 7 years far more time in Cambodia. It's just I don't know, you hear so much about Thailand all the time. I sort of got over it a little bit, but I do like it. I I don't want to talk about Thailand because this is not about Thailand. My channel is not about Thailand. This is all about Cambodia. So with that, I did spend quite a fair bit around, walking around and exploring. Didn't know too much about it, other than the Riverside, Street 51. But I will admit, though, it did take me 5, 6 years before I got to Street 104. I never got there. I went to the night markets. I did do S21, the torture school. Well, it was an old school. They'd done their torturing there from the Khmer Rouge times. If you ever do get there, it's not for everybody. It is soul destroying. I went through there just to have a look, to see what it was like. Growing up, I did hear about what was going on through Cambodia at the time, through the Khmer Rouge. Excuse me, I'll have a quick drink. And yeah, hearing about it, but actually seeing some of the pictures that are there is very, very distraughful. The one that sort of sticks in my mind to this day, really, and it is rather profound, when you had the Khmer Rouge, they had this lady, I think quite a few people who have been through the museum itself, because they've tried to keep the museum exactly how it is when it all came about, when it all changed and they were liberated by Vietnam. And with that, just a little bit of a description about it. It was a woman sitting there, just holding a baby in a chair, sitting upright. It looked like she had her eyes open. She's just sitting there. It looked like the baby was asleep. She was just eyes looking straight forward. But then you go to the side view. That was probably the more confronting thing. It's not that the fact she was sitting there smiling with a baby asleep. The baby wasn't asleep, and she wasn't alive either. What they'd done a photograph of it directly in front, saying, look, we look after people. I really don't know what the photograph was all about. But what it did prove was that just the human act of what they did. I sort of, after reading a fair bit more and reading a book from one of the survivors there, I'll get back into that. What this picture, why it was so profound, is when you turn sideways, when she was sitting on the back of the chair, they had like a screw went right into the back of the head, and it held her head upright. She was just sitting there. She was propped there. And when you see that, after seeing a lot of other things, little cells, like this is not a big room in itself. If you can imagine something the size of a standard toilet room, little 6 foot, what was it? No, it was probably about 4 foot by about 8 foot long, not even. Now, something like 30 people in some of those little cubicles in a high school, which they made out. And yeah, it's not for everybody. I have been down to the killing fields. I keep saying, yes, I will get down there, but I just got sidetracked a lot from it. I went there with a mate, but it wasn't quite the right time to go down there with him. So out of that, I turned around and have put it off. I will eventually get there, but getting back onto the S21 torture, museum is what it is now. I was looking through, just walking around. quietly walk through as you do, because when you take it all in, and growing up through that particular time in the 70s, I was 18 at the time in the 70s when all this was going on. It You hear about it from the news, but you sort of get it edited, and from there it just gets chopped and changed and sanitized so that you from another country can actually get there and take it all in. But I wasn't there while it was actually happening. And with that, there was one particular survivor there, and I actually bought his book. I brought his book. It cost me about $10 US, and that gave me a huge insight. I actually, next time I do a live stream, I'll actually get the book and show it. And it was quite good reading as to what happened there, and a good understanding on what went on there, what were going through people's heads to go and do what they did. Why would you do that to people? Why would you do that to your family members? Why would you do that? It comes down to kill or be killed. How can you get your head around that? That's probably one thing that I can't. Even though I grew up in that era, I can't put my head around the fact that to survive, you had to kill someone because you got a gun pointed directly to your head. Kill that person or I kill you when I kill them. How do you actually get your head around that? I don't know. And this is what these people did. And this is what some of them did to survive. They killed people. I mean, this guy watched even though he didn't have a gun pointed to his head, but he watched his wife die and his children die. The reason he survived was he was an artist, and this particular head honcho, whatever you want to call him, no words for him, hierarchy person, animal, probably not even an animal. That an animal's above him. An animal kills for a reason, not for what they did. But anyway, with that, he was an artist. So this particular animal, wanted to be documented. And the only way he could document it was to draw pictures. And with that, that's how he survived. I can't think of the guy's name offhand. I should have found it. I don't even know where the book is. It's probably buried out in the garage there. I do have it. I might actually read it again. And yeah, and with that, that's how he survived. I actually bought his book, and he wrote the book with the help of one of the NGOs there who documented it. And he sat there, and I thought, well, I appreciate he actually survived. And that was probably the major the major thing that he could ever do, so he could tell people what really went on after it all finished. God knows. But anyway, that was through just that museum alone. That was probably the biggest eye-opener about that country. Yes, it is all more provincial French colonialist, a lot of the buildings, when I first started going. But I did progressively see a lot more new buildings slowly getting there to be built, little bit by little bit. They're just going mayhem at the moment. So out of that, when I get back there, there's going to be a lot more buildings that I didn't even know. I knew they were digging holes in the ground to start them. With that, yeah, great. There'll probably be a lot more advanced. The hotel that I've stayed in quite a few hotels, but I stay down near the Bassac area. I really like that area. There is a lot of construction going on around there, but I found a nice little boutique. There is probably a couple of good hotels just around in that area there. I don't like staying in really big hotels because I find that you get a lot of doors because the walls are so thin, and then you hear a lot of echoing for a lot of them. Being a more boutique style, it's quick, I might have to change that. Boutique style hotel is you get that more personal service. And unfortunately, there's a lot more hotels there are owned by Chinese and run by locals. And it's very hard for the locals to get jobs, but I think they are looked down on far too much. But they do a fantastic job. And then I found this hotel by accident. I did stay at another one just up the road from it a little bit. That was really good, but I kept going back to the one that I stay quite regularly up until recently. And that was a family-owned business, and I've probably stayed there for the last 4 years. So 4 years out of the last 7, but I always based myself out of there in the Basak area. Probably a little bit more on the upper side. Aussie dollars, it's usually around about $80. If you talk US, it's around about, well, it was originally $43 it started at. Because they got to know me, they upgraded me. Hey, I move around, whatever room they give me, but they are always clean and everything is always spot on with them. And it was really good. So they always treat you good, always had a great time there. It's not flash, but the rooms are clean, well looked after, renovated, modern. If you want to have breakfast in the morning, you have it outside in a little cabana type area, right next to the pool. I only had that a couple of times, even though I've stayed there quite a fair bit over the years. I usually travel 3 to 4 times a year for about 6 weeks up until, more recently, about 2 years ago, I had to cut it right back, even though I get a lot of requests from guys to show them around Thailand and so forth. But because of my circumstances, personal reasons, I couldn't do it. Well, I'm a bit more open now, but circumstances prevailing now, we can't go anywhere. But with that, I've stayed at that hotel, and I will go back there whenever that'll happen. I just don't know. So with that, I've stayed in the area, as I said, approximately for the last 4 years prior to now. So it's been probably coming on to 9 years. Going through to 8 years going to Cambodia. With that, I still enjoy it. I'll still go back. There's lots more to do. Partner keeps asking me when to come back. Kids keep asking me when I'm coming back. When I can. Who knows? Who really knows? But out of that, we just take it as it comes, and hopefully we'll do a couple more of these live streams and chitty chat. So with that, I'm just about ready to end it all. That was my first visit to Cambodia. What I did was probably a bit full on. I did spend 9 days. I'll get to the rest of it a little bit later. I'll probably talk a little bit as I go along. This is a bit short to do, sort of getting up the courage to come and do this live streaming thing. But I will talk about some of the fun times I had over there, and but more in particular, my last day, and and about going through the club Puntang. Well, not Puntang, Pontoon. Very popular nightclub there. There are quite a few nightclubs there that I did go around to, even next to the one next to Naga World. That was quite good, but it did get expensive. But quite a few people there. It was a couple of times, Christmas time I went through there. Really busy. Love the festivals they have there on the riverside when they have all the boats and floats and everything going. So they've upgraded a lot of it there. They've made the riverside walk really good. There used to be like a volcanic type footpathy thing, and it was not the best. It had lots of holes in it with those typical little squares where you walk over and they come out and really bad. But they actually made the riverside walk really good now. I did make a video. One of the girls that just a bit wet, a bit slippy. Go check that one out. And that's the downside of walking there when it's wet, and if your shoes aren't grippy, you do tend to slide around. But when they keep it clean or it gets wet, it does get slippery. But they're slowly improving a lot. Just around where the night market is, I think they opened up. That used to only be the Thursday night and a Sunday night in the night market. That is open more often than not. I don't know what it's like now, but it is what it is. So from there, you can turn around, go up and down any one of those streets there. Street 136, that's another story in itself. Lots of people have gone down Street 136. That's another beer bar area, girly bar, you name it. We talk about the Walkabout Hotel. I think if you've been through Street 136 quite a fair bit, you might remember the Candy Bar. The Candy Bar? The Candy Bar. Yeah, there was this one little, she was funny as all as you know, whatever you want to call it. And from there, that's gone actually. I think that would be now I think turning into a family mart, Kiwi Mart, Ponlu Mart, scratchy head, maybe something like that. I'm not quite sure. But with that, everything changes. And it was just put through the old little candle market there, which I heard they were going to redevelop at some stage. They've dug up the road outside that little market there, just down from the old market behind the night market there. So they made that road looking really good. So I've yet to have a look at that. Not many people, but there are a few videos here and there that do pop up here and there, but not very, very few people actually do a bit of talking to give you the general gist of what's going on. They just either walk around or give you a look around on their push bikes. That's all good and well, but if you don't know really what you're looking at, it's pretty hard to take it all in. You probably can take it in if you know where you are and what you're looking at. It is changing. It's changing quite quickly, especially when there's not many people there to slow them down. I did hear up near Simriap somewhere, things are happening too fast somewhere along the line. They had a building collapse. Trying to throw things up too quick doesn't go down well. Whether it was cheap and nasty, but some of the comments I did read, I think they were trying to put the building up too quick before the concrete's set. I don't know. That's the gist I got from one of the comments there. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to end it now, and we'll see how we all go, see what traction I get from this. If you do like it, give us a big thumbs up. If you'd like to hear a bit more, give me a big thumbs up, leave a comment there somewhere along the line, and catch you in the next one.